All right. So what we're going to get into next is we're going to feature a compilation called C.A.B, which has just come out of BC. It was brought to our attention by Artificial Dissemination. Shauna was talking to us about this great compilation that features basically a bunch of Canadian bands doing a song about police violence. And they're using the acronym A.C.A.B, but the first A in C.A.B is the Canadian A.
Like A hoser.
Referencing it's all Canadian. Yeah. Basically the hoser.
That's pretty funny.
Take off A. And so we got to interview Nick Press, who's the guy behind this compilation. And he also plays in a band called D.T.F. And we're going to start off this piece with a song from that compilation called Cold War that D.T.F. play.
The Cold War's over. Right. Pick it up. How can you trust your lessons of history? Disseminated through the filter of nation. And how can you say the Cold War is over? Under threat of nuclear annihilation. It's gone through proxy wars. Although much has changed, some things stay the same. Flesh and blood for pride and glory. Cold War is a state of mind. Cold War is a state of mind. Just turn on your TV, and you are certified. It's endemic to mankind. So how can you trust your lessons of history? Can't tell me, how can you trust in your lessons of history? Disseminated through the filter of nation.
finally those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades, hey?
Hi, Nick. Welcome to the show. Can you tell me about your band D.T.F and the song that you wrote for this for a compilation that just came out?
Absolutely. Band D.T.F has been around since 2018. Started up as a 3-piece in central Okanagan, and just started playing punk rock. Got real lucky. Our first show was opening for Dayglow, and there's a lot of love for Dayglow in Vernon, so that was a packed house, and it was just sort of a trial by fire moment, and went fairly well, and just been kind of trying to keep things alive despite everything that's going on. And so one of the things we decided to do when all the shows fell out, our whole season of shows got canceled as a result of COVID, as many bands were finding themselves in that situation. So we decided to do a comp instead. And I wrote a song for it. It's not being released on anything else. It's not going to be on any of our EPs or LPs. It's just for the comp. And it's called Cold War. And we're trying to push ourselves in a little bit of an old school ska direction. And at the same time, we're trying to make a statement about the politics of McCarthyism and some of the media manipulation that's going on.
And that era has sort of been defined by, I think, sort of a police state kind of thing. Is that the connection to this compilation? Can you tell me about the compilation? Maybe we should start there
absolutely.
because this might be we might need some context to this. You've put out a compilation called C.A.B.
C.A.B. So just like the old punk acronym, but it's a Canadian compilation, so we changed the A to A-E-H exclamation mark. So it's called the A.C.A.B. comp, and it's an overtly political comp. One of the things that I was asking bands from the get-go was like, I want them to be political songs. I want them to be engaged. I want them to be, I want you to talk about things that matter to you. I don't want any songs about, we have great songs about drinking and fucking people and all that good punk rock stuff. But I wanted it to be a political comp. And it was kind of just a pipe dream until I got in touch with Paul Gott, because we were supposed to play a show with the Ripcords. And then COVID hit and the show got pulled, and I was bummed. So I ordered some merch off him. I was like, well, I'll fucking get the new album on vinyl and say hi to Paul, and wasn't expecting anything to happen. But this is my first real interaction with the guy, and I had no idea how gung-ho he is and how supportive of other bands, and how, like, I have the feeling any project you float in front of this guy, he's gonna push you to do it. That's the kind of guy he is. So he really lit the fire, and we got 14 bands together.
Did he have the idea for the comp, or did you have the idea? How did that?
I had the idea originally.
And then he just kind of supported it? You guys kind of bandied it about?
Yeah, to be honest, when I messaged him, I was expecting like, oh, hey, kid, cool idea. Because it's the fucking Ripcords. They've been a band longer than I've been alive. But that was not the experience at all. It was like, okay, here's the resources you're going to need to make this happen. Ripcords is on board. Here's some other bands that'll definitely be on board. Here's the guy to talk to about mastering. Like, just like, there was no option at that point. It was
resourceful in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a list of more cops, no more state, no more war, no more hate.
Was the comp inspired by the recent uprising with Black Lives Matter?
It was actually. Yeah, that whole thing, it shook me. And I mean, it shook me almost in a different way because I'm not in an urban center, right? I live in a very small town in BC, and you know, there were small marches of solidarity and stuff, but we're so isolated here and we're so insulated from any kind of real political engagement. And that bummed me out that, that, you know, these dialogues were starting in earnest. They've been going on forever, of course, but you know, something was coming to a head, and I felt very far away from it. So you know, kind of figured, fuck that. I'll try to do what I can and at least put some money towards an organization that I feel is doing good work and standing up for the marginalized groups.
So tell us about where some of the proceeds are going to, and how this fits into the comp.
Yeah, all the proceeds are going to the CCLA, which is the Canadian Civil Liberties Association. I wanted to pick something a little broader so that it wouldn't specifically go towards one issue to the exclusion of any others. So I've got a lot of respect for the CCLA. I think they do really good work. They do pro bono legal stuff to help people arrested at protests. They try to give their platform to marginalized groups, Native groups, the Wet'suwet'en and others. And just generally combat the mainstream narrative of the colonial Canadian powers.
Criminalizing different outsider groups.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you go about picking bands for the comp? You said that Paul Gott was, I think, your starting point, but I think that I don't know. I imagine there was others that came about in different ways. Yeah,
well, we have some friends who we've played shows with and have had good experiences with, so it was kind of a natural fit to ask some of them. But you know, it's a lot easier to get someone on board with a project when you say, hey, do you want to be on a comp with the Ripcords, instead of, hey, do you want to be on a comp with a new band from interior BC that's played a couple shows? Like
sure, there's already some cachet with a band that's been around for 30 years now.
Yeah, exactly. So Chips Ahoy was going to play that show with us in Vernon. And so we were...
Can you tell me about Chips Ahoy? Because they have one of my favorite band names. And I found out about them last year and about all their releases. And I've just been curious about them ever since.
Yeah, man. Pogo punks from Edmonton. Chips Ahoy rule. Just super thick bass sound. I'm pretty sure, I don't know them super well, but I'm pretty sure the bassist is the lead songwriter, because the bass on every song just slaps and is so articulate.
It drives everything.
Yeah, and pops out of the mix so nicely. And you know, it's fun punk. It's got that up and down pogo beat. Actually, for the show, D.T.F was on board to be the official pogo stick supplier. They asked us to go down to Canadian Tire or where have you and provide pogo sticks for the pit.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm really choked that didn't happen.
Yeah, that would have been
But
fun.
yeah, no, check them out. Chips Ahoy, Boots, Leather, Scarves, and Toques is their latest. It's phenomenal. And then Make Pogo Great Again is their one before that, and it's super good too. It's got a song about the Okanagan Ogo Pogo punks.
Is that TFS at the end?
TSF. Team Strike Force.
TSF. Sorry. Who's TS? Oh, sorry. Wrong band.
Yeah, that's all good. Those are homies from back in the day. That was one of the first underground punk shows I ever went to in Vernon, BC, probably around 2007. And yeah, just skate punks. I went to high school with the guy, Dustin. He lives up in Prince Rupert now. And yeah, that's a ripper track, eh? They just donated the one, and it's like a 50-second song or something, and it just takes no quarter.
Sit the fuck down and do your goddamn job! You're not big, speak for yourself! If I wanted your opinion, I would give it to you! But I don't, so you won't say another word! You know curiosity kills cat, and complacency kills your soul! One square play, and one red hole! Early bird and guess worm, but all you got's gold! One square play, and one round hole. Do you know your worth? curiosity killed the cat, but complacency killed their soul. One square peg and one red hole. Early bird against the word, but all you got's cold. One square peg and one round hole.
One of my, did you use any other cop compilations as like a blueprint? One of my favorite cop compilations was the one that Mystic put out in 1984 called Copulation, The Sound of Hollywood.
I don't know that one.
You never heard of it? Oh,
Mystic,
yeah. Well,
right?
it's yeah, Mystic put it out in 1984. Almost every song on there has something to do with cops. There was a conscious effort to be made with that, making sure that it was a cop theme, and also the songs were all unique to the comp. I feel like some of that was tried here. I was wondering if there was like sort of a connection to something like that.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that one specifically, but I was definitely had in mind while I was working on this, the Peace War comp, because I'm
oh yeah,
familiar
right.
with that one, and also
Yeah, it was right around the same time, right?
Okay.
So I think they inspired each other.
Yeah.
And they both came out of California at the same time.
yeah, and I was also very conscious of the fact that I don't remember his name, but the guy who put together the Peace War comp, I guess, pocketed a bunch of the money that was supposed to go to charity, and his name became Mud. And correct me if I've got my history wrong, it might have been a different comp, and I don't want to run anyone's name through the mud, but that's been on my mind still now, and especially as we're selling more albums, I'm keeping on top of my budget and making sure that I track my sales really accurately, because I want to make sure that none of the bands, make money off this thing. The money is supposed to go to charity, right?
Yeah, well, I guess the idea, I work at a charity, so I think the idea is that the money, the promise of money going to a charity gets delivered, right? I mean, I think it sounds like it's a really well needed resource or service that is provided for people who get in trouble, who get criminalized, and so I mean, I just feel like it's a good pairing, right? And you just want to make sure that they get as much money.
Well, absolutely. Otherwise, it's
possible.
exploitation. We've got their logo on the album. We name drop them, and we didn't do it, just for show. We did it because, it's.
You wanted to raise money to help them.
Yeah.
And, who knows?
And also just turn people on to what they're doing.
Help
right?
a lot of people. Can you tell me about some of the songs that might shed some light on police act, like basically police irritation?
Police irritation. Well, yeah.
Police
there's a great Franco-Canadian band called Disruptive on the comp, and they got that. I've never
heard them before.
No, I think they're fairly new, but it's
a great song.
It is. I might have mentioned I grew up in Ottawa, which is obviously a bilingual city, and I also grew up during the era of Gilles Duceppe and the bloc really gaining a lot of traction. So I think subconsciously for me, the sound of a French voice has always been synonymous with rebellion and anti-authoritarianism. So I just love his voice in that song because it's just so unapologetically French, and they're from QC. They're from the heart of the province. So
there's a van on fire in front of the Wrigley building. I need someone with a fire extinguisher to come up through this.
Hey, we need a gas team.
They are inside the water tower.
Now they're breaking into the water tower. They're inside the water tower.
Police officers are now using rounds. Statements, divided opinions, merging symptom of capitalism. System of illness, disgusting and straight. All these people that fell through the cracks, fit in please.
Stoked to have that one on there. Bootlicker's a great track on there that deals with the relationship between police and the apologists, the people, the Blue Lives Matter people.
And that's by Dirty Bird, right?
Dirty Bird, yeah. Toronto hardcore.
That's from here. Yeah. How much is the comp and how can people order it?
Well, if you're ordering it online, it's by donation. Minimum donation's $12. We set up a Bandcamp for it. That's why it's $12 online, because Bandcamp's going to take its cut. So we need to basically make $10 an album to make it viable. So if you're in one of the cities that the comp has been shipped to, you can you pick one up off of the various bands. I think Dirty Bird's got some copies. Artificial Dissemination's got some copies. Who else got copies? Shit. Harsh got copies. Disruptive got copies. And Hypocrites got copies. And I might be missing one or two. But so if you're local to any of those scenes, you can just grab it off them, and it's probably going to be $10 cash or whatever they decide it is. That's what it is for me here in Vernon anyway. But yeah, if you go to the Bandcamp, it's acabcomp.bandcamp.com, and it's $12 minimum donation.
And it's a vinyl comp, right?
It is a CD comp.
A CD comp.
We
okay.
couldn't sell it for $12 if it was vinyl.
I was going to say, yeah. Is there a song you want to go out with?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to show everyone, get some Chips Ahoy on there. On the Grid, oh man, that's a banger track.
Can you tell me a bit about the song?
Sure. It is a despairing track. That's what occurred to me when I first heard it. They submitted it. I hadn't heard it yet. It's off their newest album, and his voice. The song deals with the problems of being on the grid, as it were, just constantly plugged in and not able to escape the the net of modern society that social media has brought about. And just his voice in it is so gut wrenching, and you can just, for me, I sympathized right away. Just like, oh yeah, we're all on the grid. I don't know what to do. It's a killer line.